I'm demonstrating shaped smocking strips today. This is a technique that came to me when I realized that smocking curves around the neck of a bishop dress, so why can't it be used in strips and shaped in gentle curves and finished as an insertion? So this is the technique that I've come up with to do that. You can see I have an underlayer, an underlining piece with a bodice traced on it. And these curvy lines are the lines that I want my smocking to fall within. I've pleated a strip of fabric. You would smock this before you apply it, but I didn't want to smock all of my sample pieces. And the smocking strip is just laid over the curved lines. You want to center the smocking over the lines as much as possible. And you can see how easily it curves. You want the pleats in your smocking to be perpendicular to the lines that you've drawn. And you can just use your fingers to adjust the smocking so that it falls smoothly without any pulls or bunching up. Then I'll pin that in place or glue it with water-soluble glue. And from the wrong side, I will stitch just outside my drawn lines, and that secures the smocking strip in place. From the right side, I've done this in black thread so that you can see it a little bit better. I'll zigzag right outside my straight stitching lines and then trim away the raw edges of the smocking very close to the zigzag stitching. The zigzagging compresses those pleats so that it's not so bulky under the upper layer of the fabric. Then I take my upper pattern pieces and I've stitched tiny piping along the raw edges. You can see I've stitched the piping and then press the seam allowance to the wrong side so that the piping finishes the edge. Then these will be placed over the smocking strip like this. Then the final step, after pinning or gluing that in place, is to use a thread color that matches your piping and stitch in the ditch between the piping and the garment fabric all the way down. You can see these are still unstitched, but how that falls over it. And then you have a shaped smocking strip. This sample, you can see this dress smocked and not just pleated. This is my honeysuckle pattern, and the smocking just follows the shape of that line. Here's another sample of the same pattern. And this dress uses the same technique. This is my rose pattern, and you can see how I've shaped the smocking around the neck, and also a very narrow smocking strip along the curved edge of the cap sleeves. Now this technique can also be used in quilting, and actually the quilt behind me was the first quilt that I did this on. You can see this very long smocking strip here is curved to be a serpentine line. There are 7 widths of fabric seamed together to make that smocking strip, so it took a while to smock that. The only difference is that on this quilt I used a folded bias strip to cover the raw edges instead of the piping seam, but the application of the smocking strip is the same. And so that's how you make shaped smocking strips.